I wanted to come on here and share. This is on looking into Bitcoin.com, and they have this chart of the Bitcoin Fear Greed Index. And I just wanted to touch on just some different aspects. As just a personal retail investor, that invested late 2017, rolled it all the way up, XRP in particular, Ethereum and all that stuff, and then roll it all the way back down and carried and accumulated, continued to accumulate through the bear market, and now we're all the way up until this point. I just wanted to kind of share my experience based off of kind of what I've learned throughout investing into this space and investing into a bunch of different assets and just kind of my experience. So looking at this Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, so as you can see, the how it's color coordinated, you have the extreme fear, you got the fear side over here, neutral, and then you have the greed side. So for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to quickly explain it. When it comes to fear and greed, this definitely has some sort of massive effect on the market. Okay, and there's some people that actually utilize this within their investing and trading strategy. So when it comes to the extreme fear, typically that's when we have like some sort of black swan event, or something comes out with the Fed that can affect the markets, or whatever the case is. And usually, or like you go into a bear market, there's a lot of fear, and a lot of this is influenced by some sort of negative narrative. People start selling off, and then a lot of fear comes into a lot of the retail investors, which they dump their bags, and it just is like a trickling ripple effect. So usually as times get very fearful, let me pull up, Warren Buffett says it best, is like be fearful when others are greedy, and to be greedy only when others are fearful. So I've heard people say it in a bunch of different ways, but the whole overall concept is usually when people are extremely fearful, or fearful in general, they're so-called, as they say, blood in the streets. That's usually when you want to take the opportunity to buy. Obviously, this isn't financial advice or anything. This is just based off of others, others' testimony and my personal testimony. This is that these times have been a great time to start accumulating. Obviously, you're never going to get the bottom. The luckiest person in the world may get the bottom, but for the most of us, we're not going to catch the bottom. So, perfect example for me, say, what is this? What year is this? 2019. So we'll say right here. So around all this time, this is 2018. I mean, I was literally accumulating throughout this entire time, and as things started dipping harder, I would accumulate more. And it's a struggle to see your portfolio. As you accumulate, you think, oh, I got it at a great price, and it's like you start seeing it dip more and more and more. And I had actually a large buy down here when it was in the 3,000 range and low 4,000s range. So you think, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good spot, right? Then you see it shoot up, and then same thing. I just constantly kept accumulating, even when they were getting super greedy. I can tell you early on within my investing into this space, I didn't truly understand what was going on. I was just like every other retail investor that was invested in the space. You see, your Bitcoin or whatever asset you're in is just shooting up, and there's a lot of euphoria. Everybody's excited. I was thinking, oh man, this is going to the moon. This is doing that, just like everybody else. But in reality, whenever we get into this extreme greed area, that's when you want to be cautious. Just like Warren Buffett says, it's truly powerful. When others are greedy, be fearful. So this is the time when, so-called per investing history, in my personal testimony, when it is greedy, when people are greedy and extremely greedy, that's when you need to put on the brakes and kind of start thinking, okay, what's going on? Where do I need to pull profit? Where am I comfortable with holding? So for me, I would still, start buying more, and there was times I bought the top, just like when I invested in late 2017, I ended up buying the top of XRP, late 2017, early 2018, and rolled it all the way back down. So it's like, you live and you learn. And what I'm sharing with you here is just my experience with doing that. So like now, as I invest, I accumulate over time. My wife and I accumulate what we can, what we're willing to lose to build our portfolio. So we just slowly accumulate, and we never catch the top. We never catch the bottom. We just do our best to track as things get, extremely fearful. It's like, okay, hey, how much money do we have to, throw into the market? Okay, cool. We have, a couple $100 this month. It's extremely fearful. What projects, have we been looking to, get into, but we kind of missed the train? Perfect example, we missed Solana, and we missed, Avalanche. So whenever it does get super, fearful and things start dumping, that's when we start slowly, accumulating that to our portfolio. Now on the flip side, perfect example, we got DOT some DOT when it first launched onto exchanges, and it was like in the low threes. So we ended up getting that and rolled it all the way up. I think it hit like 40 something cents or something. And as we started seeing the market get super euphoric, we started just pulling a little bit of profit. Took our initials out, took a little bit of profit, and just let the rest ride. In the past, that wouldn't have been a thing for me. I would have been like, oh no, we're holding this to the moon. It's going to $1,000. But it's like, no, like I had to put the brakes on and remember, like, this fear and greed index does have some influence in the market. So why not play it safe? So I just wanted to bring this up because there was actually a YouTuber that I watch daily that was kind of like, I like to say he was kind of like judged and attacked low key by one of his subscribers, or maybe it was just somebody that came in, but they came in and pretty much was like, hey, you're wrong about your price prediction on Bitcoin, because he was saying Bitcoin was going to surpass 100,000 at the end of 2021, and obviously it didn't. But yeah, he was pretty much like, hey, you said you were Bitcoin was going to pass $100. You're wrong, and pretty much just like kind of spread some FUD on his channel. And the way he responded was pretty powerful. He's pretty much telling him like, hey, through this channel, I teach you to invest what you're willing to lose, but invest for the long time. Stop trying to, flip things in the short term. You're not an experienced trader, so why are you tripping? And then the fact that obviously you probably bought the top and ended up selling the bottom, so that's your own fault. Pretty much what he was saying is you need to take responsibility for your own investments, and I truly agree with that. There was times early on when I was investing, in 2018 where sometimes I'd get frustrated at the information I got, but then like over time you start realizing like, hey, you take the information you get from others, and articles on the internet, and you start researching about, other digital assets and, cryptocurrencies and stuff. And you kind of start seeing, okay, hey, I kind of see that this project has value. So what you do is, like, let's go to these charts real quick. So what you do is, you look at a certain project, right? And you go into, you can go into their, their website or whatever the case is, check out their white paper. And if you feel comfortable about it, then you buy into it. So then whenever you, invest into it, at that point, you invest into the long term. You know what I'm saying? But then when you invest into it and say the information you got from, your favorite YouTuber or whatever the case is, and they were so-called wrong about, where that project was going, you can't necessarily blame them for that. I mean, you took the action of investing. You should never put your investment decisions based off of what your favorite influencer, has said. Because at another point, they may be, more financially well off than you and have, a platform to speak on. But it's like they're just like you, trying to sustain a life for their family and build their net worth and have a happy and healthy life for their family. So they got their own strategy. Their strategy may not be the same as yours. And I wanted to come on here and share that because I've experienced that. And I think the fear and greed index, even if you don't know any TA, I don't look at TA and stuff. I listen to, a bunch of different TA guys that I follow and just kind of use that in my analysis and my trading and strategy or my investing strategy. But it's like, if you don't know any TA and you just want some sort of indication of like, hey, I want to start knowing how to protect myself, how to protect my investment at least. When I mean by your investment, like how do I protect at least my initials so I'm not losing money? I think the fear and greed index is a great indicator to kind of just help guide you on kind of where the sentiment is in the market. Obviously, you have a lot of other stuff through TradingView and, utilizing a bunch of different indicators. You can utilize other platforms that, check out like social sentiment and community sentiment on like, YouTube, Twitter, and all these other social platforms that kind of pull all that information into a database. But like those are paid things, but you could just simply come and check out the fear and greed index, whether that's on the alternative index website or whatever the case is. And you can just kind of judge, okay, where are we at? If you see that we're extremely greedy, hey, maybe you should start putting on the brakes and really start evaluating where we're at in the market and how comfortable you are with the skin you have in the game. And what I mean by that is, so say you make $50,000 a year and you have, $5,000 in the market. If you're not comfortable and you can't sleep at night because you have that much money in the market, maybe at the extreme greed, even the greed, area, maybe you should start considering like, look, hey, I'm kind of stressing about our investment. Maybe you should start considering, hey, let me start pulling some off the top. Let me at least start pulling my initials out. Even if you miss, another 2x or whatever the case is, that's okay. as long as you can sleep easy and you're not super stressed about your investments, that's all good. There's some powerful YouTubers out there that actually bring that up. And one of them is Kevin Cage. He actually talks a lot about, hey man, I missed, $1 million on this trade if I just would have held. But it's like he talks about you live and you learn. It's like he got to a point to where he felt good about the return he had, which was massive at the time. And he sold his at like a 20x or something. He ended up, selling some of that asset at, a massive multiple X's. So he had a great profit, but it went on to set multiple X's, which he could have had millions of dollars from. Yeah, it hurts, but within hindsight, he followed his plan based off of, his skills when it comes to TA and stuff and just investing in general, and that he was comfortable with. And he sold with, the portion that he was willing to sell, and he was okay with that. So just understand that there will be a lot of times where you end up, selling, and your project goes off a lot more. It's going to hurt every time. I mean, for me personally, and this is what this channel is about, just a conversation and chat of my personal experience and overview of the crypto space. It hurts every time, okay? It hasn't got any better. There's been projects where if I literally just didn't sell, the initials that I had, I literally could have, 6x to 12x, my portfolio on multiple projects. And it hurts. Even to this day, I still think about it and it frustrates me. But it's like, hey, you live and you learn and you stick to your plan. At the end of the day, you have to protect your investment. And you got to protect your family. You got to protect yourself. So I just wanted to quickly come on here and kind of share just my overview and experience when it comes to the Bitcoin Fear Greed Index. Remember, and I'm sure you've heard it, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Okay, just remember that, because I mean it can really help. It's helped me a lot, and this is all not financial advice, none of that. This is just my experience and kind of how I view things. I'm just a normal everyday father of two trying to make a great portfolio for my family. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. So with all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.